And welcome, everybody. Thank you so very much. Welcome to the podcast. My name is James W. Falcon, and we're going to bring on here in just a second our illustrious founder, Theresa Angela. Please join us.
Hello, hello.
All
Can
right,
you
so
hear me?
Theresa, I can hear you just fine. So we have a power pack show this evening, right? And you want to bring us up to speed as to what we
We
can
do.
expect this week?
So, we're going to do a quick recap of what we talked about last week, which was The Magic, the book by Rhonda Byrne. And our podcast last week, we titled it Settling into the Magic, Finding the Magic, Your Own Magic in your own life, everyday magic. Today, on the Akashic Realm and the Akashic Records, if we have time.
Sounds like a plan to me. So last week we talked about the magic, the book, as Teresa said, from Rhonda Byrne, and she identified the magic as being gratitude. So we talked a little bit about talked a lot about gratitude. We gave some examples about it. One of the things that stands out in my mind is the fact that we talked about how gratitude is a frequency, and that frequency is very strong, very powerful. We even gave the frequency ranges as it relates to it being in hertz, which is the measurement of sound and frequency, and how the measurement of gratitude is actually higher than that of love. And so we looked at different examples about how gratitude can happen. We also talked about how we can elevate our vibration and our frequency, and how using and walking, living in a mindset of gratitude will draw and attract other things. Teresa, what stood out for you last week?
Yeah, there was a whole lot of shedding of tears. I was not prepared for that, but it's just a part of the journey. So, looking for magic in your everyday life is something that I really want to encourage our listeners to do because there is magic. Every day that you are awakened, every day that you have a grass, that's magic. I mean, what more of a gift can you have but waking up every day and having a new start and having the ability to affect change in your life and in the lives of others. So that was, it's a very special book, and I still encourage our listeners to, downloaded the PDF, a free PDF copy of that. I believe it's on my Facebook wall. And if anyone is interested, I can just personally send it to you via email or messenger. But it's a really good read. It's a quick read, 28 days of encouraging you to find gratitude and to find things to be grateful for. So that's The Magic by Rhonda Byrne in a nutshell.
Teresa, is it a complicated read?
No, it's a pretty fast read. Each chapter is about a page and a half long or so, and the prompts, it's like a journaling exercise. You can get yourself a notebook, get you some loose paper, and just follow along with the activities. It's a really easy read. My daughter she did the activities with us when we read the book, and she's in high school, so she was able to follow along really well. So it's even good for children. Every day is a different activity, so it's not the same thing of just writing a list of things that you want to, show that you're thankful for. There's actual activities each day, and each day builds on the day before it. So, really good book. It is written by the author who came out with The Secret, and she has a lot of books. So, if you're inclined, if you are an avid reader, then go ahead and get all of the books. But like I said, I do have the free PDF of that book if you're interested.
Yeah, I can concur. It was a very enriching and enlightening read. We had a great time going through it. Very like you can feel your vibration getting stronger, and you can start to immediately feel the results and the byproduct of gratitude. You can start to feel
You know,
things coming to
when
you.
you decide to do something right, you start your day differently when you are doing these activities. Some people, you're harping on the bills that you have to pay or the just the day-to-day stressors and worries. But when you have an activity or you have something that you can set your time and set your mind to at the beginning of your day before you get into traffic, before you get to work, but to be able to focus on this one thing, you can set the pace and set the intention for your day. And it's for 28 days. And they say at the 28th day, you can start it over and keep going. The beauty of that is I have a binder. So when I'm not here anymore and somebody finds my binder, there's going to be a lot of great things to read because they'll see that I was first grateful for them. So that's the magic in your day-to-day life.
What do we have for them
I
this
hope you're
week,
not
Teresa?
talking because I can't hear you. So I want to talk about the Akashic Realm and the Akashic Records. And if this is not your thing, go ahead and log off now because we're going to go very Realm is a very special space. It is above us, it is around us, it is within us, and it houses something that we call the living library. So, we first want to talk about what is Akash. What does it mean? It is a Sanskrit term that simply means sky or the ethers. And it represents this unending expanse of this consciousness, this vibrating consciousness that is both our shared truth with each other and then our truth on an individual level. So when we are able to separate hate from our own vibration and we realize that truly we are here all together. We are all energies. We're humans. When we are able to have other level conversations and we can get past the simpler things like color and class and race and religion and gender, when we are able to bypass and just look at each other as being we're brothers, we're sisters, we are of us the same species, then we can understand that now we can talk about other vibrational beings or other vibrational topics and other vibrational areas, parallel realities and spaces that vibrate on a higher or a lower frequency than where we are. And one of those spaces in the higher vibrational frequency would be the Akash. And that is where this library, this living conscious library exists. And like I said, it's above, it's below, it's around, it's all around us, it's in us. But it's where, and if you want to get technical, and we can call it modern day, it's the cloud, but it's the cloud of the soul. And this is where all of your experiences, your own eternal history from this life that you're living right now, if you are a teacher, a doctor, a nurse, whatever your occupation is, but in this existence and in this reality that you're currently in, this avatar that you're playing in the game right now, you, the Akashic Records or the library. In the Bible, they call it the Book of Life. So everything you've said, done, will say, will do with who, all of your experiences are stored. how many children you're going to have, how many children you're not going to have, who you're going to date, who you're going to marry. All of your realities, all of the possibilities are stored in this library. So that's what we're talking about tonight. So, Akashic Records, we're going to talk about how to access them, what you need to do to get into them, what you will find in there, who guards them, who's running the route for the Akashic Realm, why you would want to look at these records. And the list goes on.
So if I'm understanding what I've read
Can you hear
on
me?
the Akashic Record, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm just, it
Folks,
was
we
a
seem to be
pause. Go
having a
ahead.
bit of technical issues tonight. We're terribly sorry. We're going to work through these issues. And if we need to, we may have to end the stream and bring it back up again. But in either case, we're going to deliver the very best in dialogue and topics for you tonight. Um, what's really interesting to note, records, the Akash, where it is, it's in the clouds, as Theresa said. So this place, this repository, is the physical manifestation of what we know to be cloud-based technology today. So it's funny. They say Hollywood mimics the real world, things that are happening in and around us, and people are tapping in that aspect of reality. And they're starting to manifest, factor things in our physical earth realm, and parcel of descriptions and things that are happening in the ether. And the Akashic Records is one of those things. So it's important that I remember I was working for a call center company back in about 2010, somewhere around there. And I remember we had this big thing where we had bought a piece of software, and the big thing with this software was that it was cloud based, mainframe software, hardware kind of an issue because everything was seated in the cloud, so to speak. So it would always be running smoothly and always be able to deliver the way we needed it to. And they spent, this company I work for spent big bucks for this cloud based technology. Anyway, I said I would say that the actual Akash in the ether, as Theresa mentioned, is what cloud based technology is mimicking. So if you can understand the correlation and how those dots connect, it's just absolutely mind blowing. Absolutely mind blowing.
So
Teresa, what else do you have for us
there
on the
are
economy?
so there are books out here that tell you you have to do this to get in and you have to be able to do that. And there's really only two or three things that need to really happen in order for you to have access to these records. And it's meditation, and you want to make sure to prepare for your meditation. You're not going to have any caffeine in your system, and no drugs, no drug use, so that you can be in a clear minded space. And there is, some people say there is a special prayer to say, and it really is just a few statements of intention. And one more thing I want to share about accessing these records, it is highly unethical to read the records of someone else without their permission. And there are so many people out here, so many spiritual workers, readers, especially readers of the tarot, who will go into somebody else's space, their sacred space, to get information without permission. And so you'll pay for that on the back end. But so you will, to get in, you're going to do a special meditation. You will state your intention. You will introduce yourself, because there are guardians to these records. To get, even to get into this space, there are guardians. And I'm going to get into it in a little bit about who actually is the scribe, the main scribe of these records, who is the writer of the records, and who watches over the records and how that the records are being accessed. So we can talk now about, well, Why
Yeah,
would you
so
want to
Teresa,
go into this space? What is it, of what benefit? So, newsflash, when you're going into the records, you should only be actually going in there to read for yourself unless you've gotten the permission to read for another. So with me doing the tarot, when you book with me, you're giving me permission. You are yielding to me and my gift. So I'm going to access as much as I can to bring back the information that you need. The information is coming through your higher self through me, but the records are being accessed. So why would somebody want to go to these records? It's a journey first to get into the Akashic field. You can visit and you can even rewrite your own records, the records that have already been written for you. You can get rid of difficult blocks in your life, in your present life. You can heal relationships, you can heal financial problems and issues, and you can change the history of certain times and places that might stand in your life. And you would tap into those doing something like a past life regression. But we want to go into the records. Some people do it just as a curiosity. They just want to know what the records show for them. Some people want to know how many children they're going to bring forward in their life. They want to know, am I fulfilling my life's purpose? Am I in my purpose? Am I on the correct career path? Those types of questions.
sounds like really valuable information.
You still there?
Go ahead.
It is. It really is. So we define the Akashic Records. It's a vibrating field of information. We know that it has information about the energetic world and our natural world. We know that it is all about your soul and your eternal existence. We also know that the records will span for eternity. So there's a universal set of information that's there. The quantum physics piece of this is absolutely what intrigues me. I'm always wanting, because the curiosities that I have for the quantum field are so vast. But one important theory is called the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. And this exists in this constant state. It's a flow or a flux where change can happen at any time. And because of that one little statement, is proof, is evidence that your records can be altered. You can amend certain contracts in there. So, you still there?
Yeah,
Why
so I think the
am I
thing,
talking to myself?
not at all. I'm here talking. Can you hear me?
No, I cannot. So I'll just keep going.
Hello?
So, whether you're interested in the past or the future, your Akashic Records opens this new world for you, and you can maybe receive information and inspiration about a project that you want to do. You want to enhance your talents. Maybe you just want to know what your gifts are. These are things that you can learn by tapping into the Akashic Records. And it's almost like it's a search engine, but it's the search engine personally for you and for your soul.
So I think I'm really excited about the fact when I learned about the Akashic Records that that you don't have to die to see or experience. That we can tap into that from the living perspective. That's really exciting to me. And the fact that you can make changes, that's powerful.
Yeah, you can definitely make some amendments. And
I think.
knowing all of this now, I feel like sometimes I'm just behind the ball at this point because of where I'm at in my life. Like, I wish I was armed with a lot of this information, before I got to this age. But I'm never too old to learn. I'm forever on this journey of just unpacking things and really putting the pieces together so that my children, they're coming behind me. These are things that they will know, they will learn, and hopefully they'll be able to apply it to their own lives and to the lives of their children. So I wanted to also talk about, so who guards these records? Because you can't just run up in a space and think that you're just going to go in here and check out somebody else's book, or just take down your book and start tampering. I did a meditation. This was a few years ago, and it was a little freebie. It was on YouTube about, learning about the Akashic realm, and it was a guided meditation. And the first I got into the space and I saw what was around me, and I picked myself up and I promptly left. I felt like, I'm seeing too much. Who is this? What is this being that's standing here hovering? And it was a very special moment, but it was also a little scary for me. I did not know what to expect. And obviously, you're doing a guided meditation, you're going by yourself. It was pre recorded. So I get into this heavy meditation, and you're going to see the things that you should be ready to receive. And as I'm walking into this space, it felt like I was walking through like a forested area for a really long time, and I'm just listening to this guide. And I get to these gates, and there were two beings at the gates, and it was almost like a checkpoint. I was allowed to go in after they checked me out. No conversation. It was just like a mental agreeing that I was to be let in. I get in, and then there were these large pillars and more steps. And once I made it into that space, I'm inside of what looked like a huge library. And I'm just walking, I'm looking, and I'm nervous because it was just me. And as I am approaching, I see nothing but books, books everywhere, books on the shelves, books from the floor to the wall to the ceiling. It was just books, millions of books. And I instinctively I just approach, and it just and my book pushes out of the shelf, and I'm allowed to take it. It was a really thick book. And then appearing before me was a table with a really large lamp, and I sat. When I looked to my right, there was a man standing at least 20 feet tall. I felt so intimidated. I got up, I put the book back, and I just walked the hell about because it was too real. It was too easy, and it was too real. There was no one saying, "Hey, come back." It was an understanding that I had had
And
enough.
this was
I was not obviously I was not ready for this. And so I just left. I went right back out the same way I came, and I came out of the meditation. I sat up and I said to myself, "What in the fuck was
so
that?"
this was all
But
Teresa.
that fueled me to want to do it
So
again.
this Teresa was all through a guided
Yes.
YouTube meditation.
Yes. Yes, it was.
Wow, that's amazing.
It
Now,
was very good.
now, would you recommend
I
that for
use
other people?
YouTube will make you sure. It's free. It was free. I would suggest that you make sure that you ground yourself before you start. Have some grounding crystals nearby, and just go for it. YouTube will make you feel like a hero. It will convince you that you know how to crochet, you can cook, like a five-star chef. Everything you need is in YouTube. So I went back. I didn't get enough, so I went back and I did it again and again and again. And I realized that if I can get into a meditative state and I can go deep enough, I can really do this. And it was beneficial for me, but I didn't really get the full benefit of this because when you're doing this, you're doing it alone. I always feel like I just have to have a partner with me when I'm doing, especially hypnosis. I am not someone who will do self hypnosis. I don't want to get stuck anywhere. I need to have someone actually guiding me. So when we do hypnosis, when we do the regressions, or when we do just straight up clinical hypnotherapy, there are places we can go, this being one of them, where you can go and pull down your own book, and you can have access to your stuff, your story. You can get all your answers to your questions. Um, Knowing now that I have had these experiences and understanding that these records are they're guarded. It's almost like going into a vault in the bank. I remember as a young child, my mom would go into First Pen, and she would have to go in to get her, what do you call those security boxes, to, social security cards. All her good jewelry was kept in these boxes, and we had to go through a process to sign her box out, and to, they give it a key, and then they retrieve things. It felt so much like that I started to feel confident in being able to access these records. So now, like I said, knowing what I know now and understanding that these records are highly guarded, if you're going in with bad intentions, you're either going to be run off, or you're going to have a one-on-one with someone who guards them. The person, the entity, the energy that guards, who is the scribe of these records, is one of the highest angels, and his name is Metatron. And so we can chit chat and throw this ball back and forth about how you discovered Metatron, through TikTok. And this has this has been the one of the conversational tennis balls that James and I will throw back and forth. It's something he'll find and then bring it to me, and I'll say yes, I know about it, or no, I don't. But when we started chopping it up about Metatron and realizing that Metatron has a space biblically as well, was even more intriguing for me.
Yeah, it was really, really good to know these things, y'all. And Teresa's going to break it down here in just a sec. Go ahead.
So Metatron is he's the highest angel, reincarnated, or he has been realigned with the energies of someone we all know, Enoch. Enoch is one of the characters in the Bible who did not die. He did not die a human death. He was taken up. Metatron has a twin, or we can say his twin flame, his twin brother in biblical land, and that name is Elijah, who also was taken up, did not die a human death. And I find it so interesting that Metatron is the owner of the cube, or what we call the Merkaba. And we can take a detour about this Merkaba and where it's found in all of the other books, the Talmud, the Torah, as examples. So knowing that there is such a powerful entity that guards this space makes me feel even better and confident to know that I'm entering a space that is sacred and is special.
It's so really awesome to know how these things intersect. You know, so many things we've learned, we were raised with understanding of, and you start to see how these lines kind of cross. And as a wise woman told me years ago, so much of a lot of what we know and do is all connected in some way or another. Is that right?
Everything is connected. We all humans are connected, but everything, all the pieces. When we talk about, the energetic thread that runs through all the religions, there's a little piece of everything and everybody, and everything just kind of weaves together. So when you get off the stream, you can look up who Metatron is. You can look up his cube, and it's the blueprint for creation. And I'm sure so many people have heard or seen the videos of Jim Carrey talking about the flower of life. Just recently, also, we've been seeing Terrence Howard has been he's unraveling a little bit, talking about the flower of life. But it's the blueprint of creation. And Metatron is the owner of that cube, or that spinning wheel that I believe is the wheel that Ezekiel spoke of biblically. It's the wheel inside of a wheel that is covered in eyes, and this energetic wheel becomes somewhat like a chariot that can move you. It's a vehicle to transfer you and transfer your consciousness from one realm into the next. I don't want to get too far gone into that theology, but in order for all of this to kind of come together, and in order for you to have access to these areas and these things, there's some chakras that should be in good working order. Your soul star chakra, which is right above your head, it's in the etheric realm. So your crown chakra, if you touch the top of your head, where that soft spot is, if you were a newborn, that little indentation, that area is what we call the crown chakra. This is where you download information straight from divine source, from your creator. But even higher and above that is what we call the soul star chakra. That chakra needs to be clear, it needs to be open, so that you can have a clear transmission to get into these records. So, where is that located? Again, it is just outside of your physical body, but it is located in the etheric body, and it's approximately 6 inches above that auric field, above that soft space.
So, what would be, Teresa, some of the signs or the symptoms that would let any of us know that that particular chakra that you mentioned may be clouded or disrupted or has a blockage that needs clearing?
When you feel disconnected, when you feel very depressed, when you're starting to have feelings like a lot of self-loathing, you feel like your life is completely disconnected from others. Um, if you're not able to hear from your ancestors, when you just can't find magic in your life, when you have strong attachments to material things and achievements in the physical world, but you're not at all very interested in this spiritual world, when everything is tangible and you are dead set on living inside your ego, you're not connecting. So there are things that you can do to clear that. There are crystals that you can work with that can help to clear that, and I can talk about those crystals. For your crown, as well as for that crown star chakra, you want to start looking into crystals called kyanite, phenakite, selenite. I talk a lot about selenite, clear quartz, and amethyst. Those will help the crown as well as your crown star. Meditation is free. And don't get it twisted. Meditation does not have to just be with your eyes closed. You can meditate while you're sitting with your eyes open. You can meditate while you're cooking. Most of us meditate, and we are actually hypnotizing ourselves when we drive. You'll go past several exits and you'll say to yourself, oh shit, I missed my turn again, because you're so deeply into your thoughts and into your own consciousness that you forget the cues in the natural world. But
Yeah, I've done that a
definitely,
few times.
meditation. I'll tell you what my hacks are, though, because I'm always gonna find a hack to get in and to get out of things. And to open the crown and to open that crown star, Very simple things. Frankincense oil is always going to be my number one. It's my go to. Frankincense oil, you rub it on your skin. You can rub it on your third eye area. You can rub it straight on your scalp. You can put it on all of your pulse points, specifically and most importantly on the back of your neck to prevent entities from entering you. Sandalwood as an oil also is going to quiet your mind, is going to quiet your ego, and Palo Santo for healing, for purification, and it helps to open you up to higher realms. Notice I did not say sage. Y'all are killing me with the sage. It's too much going on with the sage. But if you stick with the more holier oils, frankincense, sandalwood, and Palo Santo. You can rub it on your skin, you can put it in your bath water, you can put it in your diffuser. Some people even make body butter with frankincense, with the oils.
Teresa, as you were talking, I noticed one thing
So
happens
those are
with
a
me.
couple.
I don't know if you can hear me. Folks, we're having some technical difficulties. But Teresa, if you can hear me, I just wanted to mention this one point. I noticed with me when I'm focusing on, like, if I have information, like, for example, with Metatron, when I started to have this curiosity about who Metatron was, who he is, and what he does, I notice all of a sudden, all around me, everything starts to be Metatron related. It's kind of like when you're in the market to buy a new
Mm-hmm.
car, and like maybe after you bought the car, and then you look around and you go, "Man, I didn't know there were so many people driving this type of car." All of a sudden, because you're in the car, every car you see, you tend to be more focused in noticing the car like the one you're driving. And that, I noticed that sometimes with natural and spiritual things. So we may think we have an inclination, but it's more to it than that. Like there are messages that are coming. We're our attention. Somebody's trying to get our attention to make a point. It's kind of like the folks that we talk to, or when it happens ourselves, and it's like everywhere we turn, we see 1111, or a
Mm-hmm.
set of numbers, a series of numbers. That's not by coincidence at all. That is actually a
Oh no, those
messaging
are
process. Go ahead.
absolutely, those are divine synchronicities. Yes, divine synchronicities. It's almost like when you get on TikTok. If I look, I'm always looking at on YouTube shark videos, shark encounters, shark bites, anything to do with sharks I'm into. And the minute I watch one, the algorithm is like, okay, she's into this. Let's give her more. Let's give her more. And the same thing with TikTok. But spiritually, again, because we're all connected, spiritually, if you pose an interest or if you show an interest in one thing, the universe says, oh, we got a hit. Send more. Send more. And you'll start to see because now because you are aware, you're in your awareness stage of your spiritual awakening, you're going to see the signs more and they're going to be sent to you more because at this appointed time you chose to wake up at the age that you are. You chose this time. So again, those repeating numbers, it's like setting an alarm on your phone. Stop hitting snooze. If you keep seeing the numbers and you just disregard, it's like hitting the snooze button. Not right now. I'll do it later. I need more sleep. I need to stay in this longer. So you're delaying your awakening process. Here's the problem with delaying that. When you are coming into your awareness and you're coming in fast and hard and you're learning things, it is because someone out here in this wide universe is connected to you and they are dependent on you waking up at your appointed time because their clock is about to go off. So there's something in your life that you need to deposit to them to help them, and that person is supposed to tag team and get the baton from somebody else, and this is how this thing keeps moving. This is how the awareness rises. This is how consciousness rises. When everyone can get to a higher frequency, the earth has its own chakra. Our earth is a living, breathing thing, and it too needs to ascend. Say it again.
So I understand that when we see those repeated numbers and those number patterns, that they're actually messages that we were leaving, that we left ourselves. Is that what I'm understanding?
That is a possibility as well. And you asked for it. You put in the timer for it. You wanted to be at this time, this phase in your life where you wanted to be awakened because you're supposed to cross paths with someone at an appointed time. When one marriage fails, the world does not stop spinning. You are supposed to cross the path with someone else. That someone else is here to cross the path with you and connect with you for whatever the reason, whatever the lesson is. You're here to teach them something, they're supposed to teach you something. Or maybe the agreement is you're supposed to birth children with this partner, whether that partnership lasts or not. So each soul is layering and is dependent on another soul to go into a higher level and a higher consciousness. Like this.
It's deep, and it's deeper than that sometimes.
It
But
really
this
is.
is a
So,
great time. This is a great time to be alive because we are in the middle, or we're in the midst of the information age. And in the information age, there has been an information explosion. So a lot of these things that we're telling you, if you can think back on them, or as you go from these broadcasts from week to week, you'll start to hear a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about will all of a sudden show up in your timeline, your feeds, your social media, your um, URL space. You'll start to see these things because what's happening is we're being bombarded with information, and that information is continuing to churn, and it provides us an opportunity to respond to things and understanding. This is kind of since this is the information age, we call this the time of overstanding, not understanding, but overstanding, because you can get an understanding beyond your wildest dreams at this particular point, because there are so many things, so many streams feeding into the one pond or river. And it's just amazing. There's a wave and a thought that's coming, and it's happening all the time, all the time.
you know, the the world we live in now, I'm actually a little jealous that I did not have a high school experience in the information age that we're in now because I would have been at the very top of my class had I had access to the level of information that my daughter has now. When I was in high school, our high school had maybe 4 or 5 shelves of books in our school library. We had a public library that had dated material. We were going through the Dewey Decimal System to find books and hope that the book that you think you found on the calling card is actually on the shelf. So then when that library failed us, then we had the University of the Virgin Islands, that school library. And at that time it was called CVI, the College of the Virgin Islands. We would have to spend an entire half of a weekend going through their library and hopefully finding the information we needed for whatever research we were doing to turn in. Now, the information is at your fingertips with you have AI, Chat GPT, you have all of Google. The information, it is just vomiting all over you. This is a wonderful time to be alive and to be pursuing your studies because there's no excuse now to not have information. So with that being said, how do you know when you are in the presence of this angelic being who is going to assist you with getting into these records? You may see the cube. You can go to Google and look up Metatron's cube. You might have a dream. You might see the sequential numbers or the repeating numbers. You might start to see swirls of intense light and colors when you close your eyes. You might start to see specific colors. You might see, you might start to have elevated thoughts. You might start to have a strong scent. You're starting to smell high spices and like exotic flowers. That's another marker for being in the presence of these elevated beings. There is heightened awareness just being in a high knowing, just like a natural knowing. You just know things now. And the biggest one is when your fears start to dissipate because you realize that this avatar we are in, this life, this existence, it's not even real. This is a holographic universe that we're in. We're little characters in a video game. That's what we're doing. And I strongly feel at some point somebody's going to step out and say game over. We're done. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about Metatron, who that entity, who that energy is, and the age-old question. People always want to know about these repeating numbers, and I feel like those are just your alarms. You set it for yourself. You set it for such a time as now, and you're coming into your awareness. And here we are in the age of Aquarius. This is the age of knowing. When we were in the age of Pisces. This was the age of believing. Now we are actually in a space where we know things.
And there's still so much more to know and to learn, both naturally and supernaturally. And that's the exciting part about the whole thing. There is so much out there. And, it tends to come in layers. Like you may know a certain portion of some information at one point, and then tomorrow or the next day, as you journey, as you continue to live, you will get deeper in that understanding. The layer will be pulled back for you to be able to see more, understand more, hear more, experience more. And that's where it gets even more exciting because every round goes higher and higher and it gets deeper and deeper. And then if you're blessed enough to have a encounter with a person, if your partner is willing to have his or her eyes opened as well, then it's all the more enjoyable because you and your partner can journey through this incredible explosion of information together. And you can share things, you can see, you can experience the things that are happening, and you find that those things were actually meant for you. They've had your name on them for the longest time. And at the moment where you encountered those things was the moment that you were supposed to. It was your place, your time, your destiny, your now. And that's really exciting as well.
Yeah, and I feel like nothing is new. Everything is just a repeating, it's a regurgitation. And we talk about the cloud, everything goes into the cloud. This is just a repeating of the actual cloud that exists, the Akashic Realm. When I was little, and of course, I was always getting into trouble, I was always doing things. My mom would threaten me, oh, Santa's going to take you off his list. And then you get to school, and the nuns would say, oh, you're going to get a black mark. God's going to put a black mark. He's going to scratch your name out of his book. So these were threats, but they were talking about this book. They were talking about this book. So to know now at 51 that this book, it truly does exist, and I have the ability to go in there and to look around and check out my own, my story, and for clients that will trust and allow me to do it for them, to go in and to extract information. When I do hypnosis, that is the whole reason for going through like a past life, tapping in to see who you used to be. And it's a curiosity, yes. But when we get to the end and we get to have that conversation with whoever steps forward, when I call forward for the highest consciousness or for your higher self to speak, I'm not allowed to without permission. So I have to first almost stroke the ego of the person's higher self to get it to engage with me, but to get permission and then to be able to ask the questions that the client provides to me. You give me a list of questions before I put you under, and to be able to get that information and those questions answered, if we're able to get you under successfully, is life changing. People have questions about every and anything. Is this person my real father? Is, what is the connection between me and my son? Did we have a past life situation before? Um, Biblical questions are answered. Just any and everything that you've ever wanted to know can be revealed to you. So either you go into the meditation, you try to do this yourself, you go into a hypnosis situation and you get it done that way, you get a regular reading. I've seen people who have gone and gotten their readings done with shells and they're getting the answers answered. But make sure the person is someone you can trust, make sure that this is a reputable person, and make sure that it is somebody with high integrity who is not going to be sitting around reading for other people without permission. But you can get your questions answered. But I just wanted to lightly touch on this topic tonight because next week we we're planning to bring forward another my colleague in hypnotherapy so that we can really talk shop, what we've encountered, what we've experienced, the energies and the entities that we have sometimes battled with. We've had to, do a lot of things to detach certain energies from people. Spirit releasement is a very real thing. It mirrors exorcisms, but you would be surprised of, what you're walking around with that's not just you. Sharing space with another energy and another entity is a very real thing. So that was my topic for tonight, y'all.
Thank you, Theresa Angela. I mean, this is just so rich and so fulfilling. I think the thing that just blows my mind is the level of information, the caliber of information that's now available to us. I mean, we can literally be in this life and tap into something in other dimensions. If that right there doesn't blow y'all's minds, it blows mine. To think that we can go into this
Hmm.
space freely without issue, and doing so does not upset the balance of life. It doesn't. It's not an issue that something somewhere is going to be thrown off. We can freely go in there, get the information we need, and freely come on out of there and have what we need, and to be able to go in and make edits. And I mean, that just is mind blowing to me. So the fact that more people don't know
It's
about this, but
amazing.
it's funny since I've been learning about it and hearing since I've been learning about it and hearing about the Akashic records again. Like I said about 10 minutes ago, I'm starting to see and hear a lot more from a lot more people about the
Hmm.
Akashic records. And again, that's no accident. That is definitely purposeful. It has been done consciously, whether it's been my doing or the doing of people around me, and we just so happen to be on the same page at the same time, which is never the case. It's been done consciously. It's been done deliberately. And so the fact that you can turn on your social media feed, you can go through something like TikTok, and all of a sudden you start seeing a bunch of stuff, and you say to yourself, wow, I was just thinking about that the other day. That's not a coincidence. That's not by happens chance at all, folks. These things are designed, they are done by intelligences, our own and others, that bring us to these points in life and in time, and we can be able to share things like this on this broadcast. We got a couple of feeds here. We just had somebody to tap in. Let me just say some shout outs real quick. Miss Rose Marie Maduro. Hey Rose, how you doing? She thanked you. She said this is really
My
informative. I see her.
Rosie.
I see her cousin Monica is up. She's raised. She said she talks about raising her vibration. And Mama Otley is in. Mama, thank you so much for joining us.
Monica. Oh, my lovelies. And Miss Empress. I love y'all. So,
We got
when
Karen
we.
Carfon. We got people. Thank you, Miss Carfon. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. So she said, lovely episode. Thanks to you both. We appreciate you joining in. Everybody, thank you. We're here every Thursday night, folks. Every Thursday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And we so appreciate the opportunity. Thank you for your time and for your contributions. Miss Teresa, you want to share anything with us before we leave? We got 5 minutes left. What
Yeah,
can you share in the remaining 5 minutes?
so I want to say this. Whenever I meet people or when I'm talking to clients or friends and I tell people that I'm a hypnotherapist, everybody does the same thing. Oh no, you gonna have me barking like a dog. Oh no, you gonna scramble my brain. Oh no, you gonna empty my bank account. No, no, and double no.
And that's not
Hypnosis.
at all
I
what
don't. I don't. I'm.
happens. That's not at all what happens. Woof, 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 woof.
Yeah. Listen, do you got bigger problems than that, sir? You you got bit by a bug. But anyway, hypnosis is a very ethical. It is a very ethical practice. Let me say this. Now, if you sitting out here and you eating from any and everybody, you don't have to be worrying about me hypnotizing you and trying to do something to you because you are trusting everybody else. People are eating and they don't know what they're eating. You trusting people to feed you. Me, as your hypnotherapist, I am here to guide and I'm here to assist. There will be no barking like a dog. There will be no drama and no craziness. But on a more serious note, hypnosis, when done correctly, it can be done remotely. And I have some who will not go remote with me. They will fly to me to have this done in person. And I thank the clients that do that. But it can be done remotely. It is a very safe practice and it is done very ethically. And the only tool that I use is my voice. I will change the resonance of my voice so that I can successfully put you under and I put you into different levels of trance, mostly theta. But you'll go under, and some people are, even if you're extremely left-brained, and you are a very logical minded person, you are a skeptic, sometimes and most of the time these are the people who are the best candidates. I get them to go in as like butter, like straight butter. But to be able to go in and to have the opportunity to extract this information, whatever the information is that you're looking for, you can have it. It's yours. This information belongs to you. And some will do it as a curiosity, but no, I'm not going to have you hopping on one leg. Um, Everything is recorded, so you're on camera, I'm on camera, and then the recording is delivered to you. I rewatched one of my clients, her regressions today. I found it was on my hard drive, and I rewatched it. And in her session, we had an interruption. Someone came in to her hypnosis, somebody that had passed away, and this person wanted to deliver a message to her mother. And my client is on the table, and it's like I am trying to ignore this other energy that is because this person paid for their session. So if you pay for your session, you're not trying to have the interruption, but it was a very persistent soul. And, I wish her eternal power and rest where she is. But she was absolutely adamant on getting a message to her family that she's okay. She's not mad and she's not sad. okay. But this is just one example of the things that can happen in session. Yes, you can see your loved ones. Yes, you can have a real in lifetime conversation. This isn't like you get to wave and say, "Hey, oh my God, they look so good." You're having a face to face. I know because I did it. I saw my parents, I saw my sister, and I saw my cousin who passed away tragically, what, maybe 2 years ago. So I don't speak on it as though I've done it. I speak on it because I know it because I've been there. So it's a real thing. And it's a beautiful experience. But you want to do it for yourself? I can send out links. It's on YouTube. If you want to try, make a go for it to try to do your own Akashic record reading. It's there and it's for the taking. It's free.
And so, Teresa, did I understand you? Is next week the week we're going to jump with both feet headlong into the pool of hypnotherapy? Is that right? We're going to
Yes,
give it to
yes,
them
we are.
next week. We'll
Yeah,
give it to them full fledged, right?
we are. Yeah, so there's some clips floating around right now in cyberspace of me under, and I've been requesting to have my face covered. These were clips from 2021, I believe, and 22. But she's gonna start tagging me. But I'm going to be having her come on to join us next week. My colleague, her name is Alicia Dupre, and this is my BFF in hypnosis. So we're going to talk even deeper next week on the entities we've encountered, the things that we've done, and the attachments that people walk around with.
It's going to be good, y'all. It's going to be good. It's up in East Baltimore. It gets gooder and gooder, y'all. It gets gooder and gooder.
Oh no, no, we
We're
ain't repping Baltimore
not
at
doing that. We're not
all.
talking East
We rep
Baltimore.
the VI. No, no, no. We're talking St. Thomas. So with that being said, because he's starting to act up. So with that being said, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the From Scratch podcast. We hope that you have found inspiration in our exploration of finding magic in your everyday life and the profound insights from the Akashic Records. Remember that every day holds a potential for wonder and transformation. All it takes is a little awareness and intention. We appreciate your presence on this journey with us. We look forward to sharing more insights and stories that help illuminate your path. Until next time, may you discover the extraordinary within the ordinary. Stay magical. This is Theresa Angela, certified hypnotherapist, past life regressionist, dream interpreter, tarot oracle reader from back in the day. This ain't no I just learned this shit for TikTok. QHHT practitioner, founder of Intuitive Tarot by Teresa with my amazing co-host James W. Falcon, professional coach specializing in matters pertaining to life, relationships, business, and career from the Encouragement is Key network. That's it, and that's all. Good
Take care,
night.
y'all. Have a good night.